Hello everyone, my name is Cristian Negulescu. You know me for a lot of automation with UiPath. We have the Salesforce connector, ServiceNow connector, JArray, and so on. Today we'll talk about the general stuff with JSON to data table. Yeah. So I have here a video with particular case with JSON with data table, but I want to cover the general stuff because I see a lot of question on this stuff, and let's hope that this video will end this type of question. So the main idea is the people will not doesn't know the structure of JSON and they want to convert everything in a data table. So this is a simple JSON without a format of a data table because it's just a simple one. It's not a vector. So let's understand how we get the name of the attributes and how we get the values. So first step will be how to get the name of the attributes and values. So here I have a simple read file with JSON, which is J1. Then if I want to use this serialized JSON, I will have to go here on the manage packages and I have to add the web API. So UiPath Web API, this is the activity that allows you to use the deserialized JSON and so on. It's already installed on my PC. So I have this serialized JSON, and this will return me a JObject, yeah, a JSON object. Now on this JSON object, I will do a for each to see each item, yeah. So then I will ask the type of item. So you can see here that on the for each, so JObject is it's an object, and then here on the for each, when I see the item, I say that this is a G property, yeah, and on this G property, I will ask this item value. So this is the name and this is the value, yeah, and I will ask the type of the value, so value type. And if it's JArray, I will do it like this. I will do some steps. But if it's not JArray, like in my case, I will write line the value, and here I will write line the name and the value. So I will write line the name and the value. The value should be to string because it's not mandatory to be string. Could be number, could be something, and to be able to print it, I will print it as string. So if I run it like this part of the code with G1, so with this one, the system will be able to give me the names and the values for this JObject for all attributes. So let's run it and see what we have. So we'll see the response, and we'll see the response that will provide. So on the output, I will have name 1 and value 1, name 2 and value 2, name 3 and value 3. Okay, good. Now, if I have an array, so I will identify that my value type is an array. Let's see what I will do. So let's take the second JSON and let's do this one. You can see here that I have records, and inside of the records, I have an array. So I have one object like this, one object like this, and one object like this. So I have 3 objects with the same format, same attributes, but different values. So let's see how we can transform this on a data table. So I identify that I have an array. So item value of the record is an array. That means records because the first element is records. And the value from here, it's an array. Yeah. So this one to this one, that means an array. Good. And to be able to convert it to, so I say, when I have this serialized JSON, yeah, deserialized, you say that I have this serialized JSON and I have this serialized JSON array. So I establish that my element is an array, and then I will convert this item value, so only this part, and I do this serialized JSON on this one. So basically, first I have this big JSON, then I will identify that this part is an array, so I provide only this part to this function with this serialized JSON, yeah? And this function will return me a JArray, yeah? So this will return me an JArray. And to be able to create a data table, it's very easy. It's a function on visualbasic.net. And you say this, JSON convert this serialized JSON object of data table And here I put my JArray object to string. So with this function from visualbasic.net, you are able to convert an array to a data table. Yeah. But first, remember, you have to identify exactly where is the array, and then you have to use deserialized JSON on that array, deserialized JSON array on that one. Yeah, good. And then I'll write the data on the data table. So let's see my book here. Let's delete what I have here. I will delete this one. Let's hit save. And let's select the file number 2. So file number 2, save, run. So this is file number 2. The system will analyze this data and he will create me a data table with these values. Let's see the result. Go to 1, and you can see that I have this one. I have the headers, which was name 1, name 2, name 3, and then I have value 1, 2, 3, value 1, 4, and you see here exactly from my JSON, I have the data. Okay, good. Let's go to the next. So this was a simple case how to convert a predefined JSON as an array to a data table. Yeah. Let's go to the next one. The next one is like this. So basically here, you will see that I have the same record. So like this one, I have the same record, but some fields that are missing. So on the first record, I don't have name 1. On the third record, I don't have name 3. Yeah. So let's see how this stuff it's acting when some things are missing. So I will go here. I will say G3. I will go here and I will delete this one. Save. And hit run. And let's see the result. And you see the system was able to know that I don't have this the type of values name 1 and name 3 on the first and the third one, and he was able to create a data table with all my values. Yeah. And you see the order of the columns are here name 2, name 3, name 1, because here the system was processing the first one, doesn't know about name 1, go process the second one, and he had name 1, and he had an empty value for the first one. And then he has all the columns, and on the name 3 doesn't put any value. Yeah, so that's why it's this order. Good. So this was the simple stuff. Yeah, but let's go to another step, and let's understand what will happen if we have something like this. And let's understand what's the idea with something like this. So here I have a JSON. I have the same record where you have a vector, an array, but inside of array I have some values and I have another vector. Okay, so let's see how we can put this on a data table. Because if I use the old stuff, if I use the old stuff, the things that I show you until now, let's see what happened. So if I use it like this, save it. Let's delete this one. Remember the values. Let's run it, and let's see what's happened. Okay, the file is already open, but we'll close this. And let's see the result. And the result will be like this. He doesn't know what is inside of fields, yeah? So he doesn't know what to put inside of array. So to be able to do this, I will run it, and then I will try to explain what is there, yeah? So I have here a complex. I will share the code with you on the GitHub. I will share the code with you, but let's understand, on the description of the movie, you will find the link for the GitHub with the code. Let's understand what's the idea here. So I have JSON 4. This will generate a sheet with number 2. And let's see what will happen and what's the idea inside. Okay. And I go to number 2. And you can see what we have here on the number 2. Let's double click here. And you can see that the name of the column now is called records name 1, name 2, name 3, records fields column 1, fields column 2. So basically, the system was able to create each system. So for example, here I have records name 1, that name 2, name 2, records that field, that column 1, column 2, yeah? So basically, he was able to create this this tree format, was able to create in a data table format, yeah? So you can see for value 1, 2, 3, we have also column 1 and column 2. So the first one. So we'll have this one as a line, yeah? Then we have this one and these two from here as a line, yeah? Because we have different lines. Okay, so in this way, I have all my values on a data table structured, yeah? But let's understand how we can work with JArray inside of JArray inside of JArray and create a data table structure. The idea is to be able to use a recursive system. So what means a recursive system? I have here an workflow, yeah? And inside of the workflow, I will call the same workflow. So that's a recursive system, yeah? So I will call it with different arguments because I have to do the logic of an array. But if inside of array I find another array, I have to do again the logic of array, yeah? So let's understand what I will do on this code. You see the result. I will show you other use cases, but let's try to understand a little what is inside here. So on the complex, on the main file, basically I read the JSON, I deserialize the JSON, then I will do here a for each, and on this for each, I will say that I want the headers. So first, I want just to go on the JSON and create these headers with the name, records, fields, and so on. So basically, I want to read the structure of the JSON, and based on the value of the structure of the JSON, I will create a column in data table. So here, I will do for each on the JObject. I will ask again if if the object is an array. If it's not an array, the object, I will create a column with that name, yeah? If the object is an array, I will call recurse from recursive system. This stuff has an argument as a data table where I will work as an array, and before means the name that I have before here. So here I have records dot. Here I have records dot field. So what I have before, what I have in the name of the header before the array, yeah? Okay, so on this one, these are the elements that enter, and I will go search on the JArray. On the JArray, I will go and search on the properties. So first, I will go and search on the JArray, and this will return me J token, yeah? On each J token, I will search for the properties, yeah? And I will ask again, inside of the recursive system, if the system is an array, I will call again the recursive system, because he will be called here. Then I will search on this one and this one. When I arrive here, I will call again the same procedure, yeah? So that's why I call again the recursive system. But here I will call it with different values. So I will call it with DataTable, which is the main one. I will convert the value to JArray. And here on the before, I would say before that item property name that. So basically, in this way, I call when I want to the records, I have records dot. When I have on the fields, I have records dot that I have from the before and fields dot. Yeah. So in this way, I format this one. So this is the recursive system. If I don't have an array, I have a normal, and we will split here the normal in JObject and the rest. If it's the rest is just an attribute. What means an attribute? An attribute is this one. So I have a field which has a name and a value, but this field could be on the system, could be another object. So I have this field which has that attribute, and I have this field that inside of this field I have another object. And you'll see that I will treat differently this one, because I have to enter this object and then get the attributes from that one. But we'll arrive to that use case. So if it's an object, I will call another procedure that will enter in the object. If it's not an object, I will add the column to be before item name. Yeah, so basically in my case, I will create here records.name1, records.name2, records.name3. And when I arrive to file fields, I will go to this one, enter to create, I will not create record fields, but I will enter again the same procedure, and I will go to call one, call two. And in this way, they create this two stuff. So this is just for creating the headers. Now, if it's an object here, like this one, I will go inside of the object. So I have another procedure that is rescue object. And in this recursive object, I will provide him the object. Here I have object. In the other one, I have JArray. And I have the same DataTable, which is input, output, and before, yeah? And let's go to rescue object. And on this rescue object, I have this analyze. Again, if it's JArray, we'll create normal rescue. If it's JObject, we'll create a JObject. If it's not, because here, if I am inside of the JObject, so I am inside of the picture, I will have height and width as an attribute, yeah? So basically, I'm able to extract attributes. We will see on the next example about this. So this is the way how I create my structures with these two procedures, rescue and rescue object, that will be called recursive. I will be able to create my headers, and I create perfectly my headers with all the structure. Then I will create a new row, and then I will do a for each again on the JSON object. I will analyze the array. I will analyze if it's an array, and you will see here that I have two for eaches, and I will explain very easy. So if it's an array, I will do nothing. If it's something with values, I will add the data in DataTable. So remember, my DataTable, it's already formatted. I mean, I have here the perfect structure, yeah, with the columns. And now I have to go and get the data and put the data on the correct column, because I have exactly the format of the columns, yeah. So if are attributes, I will put the data on my column, yeah. So you see new data item, and I put the value, yeah. So this is the value that I extract, and I put it exactly on the column that I want, yeah. And I will say that it's a Boolean value, that new value is here. In my case here, on this one, on the simple example, will work like this. So he will go to records, he will find name 1, put value 1, name 2, value 2, name 3, value 3. And this will finish with the first element of the with the first element with attributes. Then he will find this array. Yeah. The idea is to first on this one to be able to prelocate all the attributes and object, and on the end to be able to prelocate arrays, because arrays can have multiple elements, and you will double, you will triple the name of line based on how many elements you have here. That's the idea. That's why the array, I call it on the end. So come back to code. First, I find and search for all the types that are not array, and then I will search for arrays. Yeah, and for arrays, I will say this. When I find an array, I will go and say I will go and use the recursive data, recursive method. So basically, I will provide JArray. I will provide before the name, which is item dot. Yeah. Then I will provide the row, because I have to complete on this data row, the data table, and I will provide also the value if it's a new data or not. This Boolean value that it's an input output. Okay. So this will enter in a recursive method, and the recursive method is exactly the same on the other one, on the top. Yeah, that I explained. So I will enter inside of the system. I will check if it's different by array. If it's a different by array, I will check if it's an object. If it's not an object, it's just an attribute. I have to put this attribute inside of the data table. So I will say data row item, the name, I know it perfectly where I have to put the data. And then I say new tree. Yeah. So if it's an object, I have to split the object. So I have another recursive method for the object, where I search, I put all the condition, and I extract the attributes of the object, like I showed you on the other part. Yeah. Now I do this stuff if it's an object or if it's an array. If I come back here, I do another for it. Like I said, in the end, I have to first I have to analyze all the when I am inside of array. First, I will analyze all the objects that are not arrays. So in this case, I will analyze these ones, and then I will analyze this object, and on the end, I will analyze the arrays. Yeah, to be able to create multiple lines. Yeah. Done. So here I will analyze the arrays, and I will do another recursive method. So you have to understand that this recursive method, it's give me the possibility to create this stuff dynamically. And on the end of the line, I will create a new line on the data table. Yes. So if I will come back here, you will see that on the end, I will write the data table to the Excel. So you saw the result. If we'll understand how it's working, let's try to do this stuff. Okay. So first, the system will go to this record. Yeah. He will search for the he will create the header. So we'll find name 1, name 2, name 3. He will find files. He will enter on files. He find column 1, column 2. I am on the test with G4. Yeah. So he creates first the headers. Then the system will go here. So on the first record, he will take these values. Then he will go to the field. He will take this value and this value, and he will complete. He will write the first line. Yeah. Then we'll go to the next one. He has the first line with all the values, and he overwrite this one and this one. And when he finish here, he write the second line. Yeah. Next, the data will remain here, but because he's going to the next one, he will override this data, this data, this data. He will override this one and this one, and he will write the line, and so on. So that's the logic of the algorithm. Yeah. So you understand how from this JSON I was able to create this data table. Now let's go and see how we'll create it from the one with the object. So here I will go and say complex J5, save and run. Yeah, as usual, the file is open. Let's close the file. You see I don't have any to field. So let's see now the result. And if I go to number 2, you will see here, let's make it like this. Okay, so what I have here, I have this one, yeah? So I have record name 2, record name 3. Then I have files with 1, 2 column, and I have here also an object. So inside of the record, I have an object with the picture with height and width, yeah? And you see here that the system will create me a data table with 6 lines. So first line will be all these values except this one, except this part, yeah? So except this part, yeah? This is all the values. The second one, it's all the values except this part, yeah? So I will create 2 lines. Then I will create this one with 2 lines. So in this way, you have the procedure to split a huge JSON in a data table structure, yeah? And then you will do a for each how you want on this data table to extract your data, yeah? I have here a big example that will take a lot of time, but I will show you just the result. So you see here that I have 5,800 lines, yeah? And it's a huge JSON. And on this huge JSON, you see that I have all the, the data structure like this. So I have basically, I think it's 100 columns or more, yeah? With data. So basically it's able to extract all the data and create you a huge data table. The original JSON is this one, yeah? So it's a simple sample JSON, and this one has more than 10,000 lines or 100,000. Look, it has 132,000 lines, yeah? So the system was able to split with this recursive method. The system was able to split all the stuff and create a huge data table. And if you are without knowing the structure of the JSON, so without you as a programmer knowing the structure of the JSON, is able to convert all this JSON stuff in a data table. And if you are more happy to work with data tables and so on, you are able to go and process your data from data table in this way, yeah? So, like I said, the code will be on my GitHub, and I'll provide you the code on GitHub. And I hope with this video, I'm able to close these multiple questions with how to convert the JSON to data tables and how we solve this problem. So I hope that this code will be able to solve all your problems. As usual, thank you very much for watching. If you like my videos, please subscribe to my channel and comment to my videos and tell me what else you want to see on my channel. Thank you very much for watching. Stay safe. Have a good one. Bye.